Okay. Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadate Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpa Tarubhayascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are in Canto 3, chapter 20, and I'm reading verse number from verse number 32 to 34. Verse number 32. Aho rupam aho dhairyam aho asyaanavam vayaha madhye kamaya mananam akameva visarpati. Aho, oh Rupam, what beauty! Aho, oh Dhairyam, what self-control! Aho, oh Asyahar, Navam budding, Vayaha youth, Madhye in the midst, Kamayamananam, of those passionate longing for, Akama, free from passion, Eva, like Visarpati, walking with us. A translation. The demons praised her. Oh, what a beauty! What rare self control! What a budding youth! In the midst of us, all who are passionately longing for her, she's moving about like one absolutely free from passion. Verse number 33, translation. Indulging in various speculation about the evening twilight, which appeared to them endowed with the form of a young woman, the wicked-minded asuras treated her with respect and fondly spoke to her as follows. Text number 34. Who are you, O pretty girl? Whose wife or daughter are you? And what can be the object of your appearing before us? Why do you tantalize us, unfortunate as we are, with the priceless commodity of your beauty? Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The mentality of demons in being enamored by the false beauty of this material world is expressed herein. The demoniac can pay any price for the skin beauty of this material world. They work very hard all day and night, but the purpose of their hard work is to enjoy sex life. Sometimes they misrepresent themselves as karma yogis, not knowing the meaning of the word yoga. Yoga means to link up with the Supreme Personality of Godhead or to act in Krishna consciousness. The person who works very hard, no matter in what occupation, and who offers the result of work to the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna is called Karma Yogi. Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So, 1 second. Yeah. So here, as we can see, the demons are getting confused with the twilight, with a beautiful woman. And in purpose, Srila Prabhupada is explaining the mentality of the demoniac people. And yeah, and as we can see what's happening in India, in Bengal, Kolkata, the rape case, you know, these are the kind of people who do these kind of things. So Sri Prabhupada is saying that first he's describing the mentality of these kind of people, and also he's saying that sometimes people, you know, they think themselves as karma yogi. Nowadays, it's very, very common. That is one thing everyone says, right? That they will say that Krishna says, we should just do our duty, karma. And I was listening to one of Amog Leela Prabhu's uh, speak on this, and he was saying the karma yoga. What is this kind of karma yoga? In the morning, we wake up and hurry up, get angry, and my breakfast is not ready. I need to go to work. If the kids are coming, shout at the kids, and then somehow get into the car. And in the car, most of our mode of passion comes in. This person is not moving. What is this doing? This guy doing? I need to turn left, right. He's cutting the lanes and all those. And then go to the work, and the person, we get mad at the people who we are working with, and our manager is like that. And then somehow we pass our day through the whole day, come back, and coming back, same traffic, similar experience as going to work. And then we come back home, and then if turn on the TV to watch something to relax, and then our kids come and sit in our lap, and then get angry at the wife. What are you doing? You cannot even take care of your kids, and this and that. The wife will say, I'm working at home since morning, and now you can't even take care of the kids. And then angrily one will eat food, not prasadam food, and then just go back to sleep. So this is karma yoga. That is not karma yoga. The karma yoga is when we do it when we offer our activities to Krishna. So here Srila Prabhupada is explaining in the purport, what is karma yoga? Yoga means to link up with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or to act in Krishna consciousness. A person who works very hard, no matter in what occupation, and who offers the result of the work to the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is called karma yogi. So that person is a karma yogi. Not that, when we are blindly doing our work through the whole day and somehow going through the day, that is not karma yoga. So there was one more thing coming to my mind, that yes, that is not karma yoga. But if we talk about, when I was reading, I just thought of that when we talk about our devotee family, so sometimes the devotees think that uh, just being engaged in our services, like husband is separately engaged in services, wife is separately engaged in temple services, and then yes, that is the right thing. But they forgot to have a healthy loving relationship among themselves. And when the kids are growing up, then we give all our time, strength, everything to the kids. And in the meantime, we forget completely our relationship altogether. And when the kids are gone, then husband, wife think, who am I living with? Who is this person? This person has changed so much, because uh, we forget to interact with each other. So it means that is the demonic mentality, the mentality that is mentioned over there in the verse. But at the same time, it's when we are in a grihastha ashram, right? So in grihastha ashram, when we are living, we should be having, healthy relationship with husband and wife all together. That's how that's what was coming to my mind. So it should not be ignored, um, uh, the relationship of husband and wife, at the same time doing the services. Services are separate and the relationship is separate. So it should not be like, okay, I'm doing my thing, the other person, is spouse, is doing other thing, and that is good enough. So that is good, but main point is to have a good, healthy relationship. And it's very important, because the way we live our life, and then the kids see that, and kids don't learn by what we say, but kids learn by what we do. So when we see that, then we are giving them a healthy environment to uh, live in a nice, healthy family. And that's something, uh, I think it's something very important. And so other than that, there was another thing that was coming to my mind, and that was what is happening till now in this chapter is that this chapter is talking about the creation. So how the creation comes. So if we look at we are walking by Chicago downtown is famous for architect. Actually, all the buildings are very uh, good architecturally. So if we are walking in the downtown and see a very nice building, so then we will think, okay, how the building was created, who created these buildings. So when we think of who created these buildings, so we will think of a lot of things like plumbing, electrician, and contractor, and builder, other things, right? But these are the people who are creating the building, and at the same time the material of the building. So material of the building like steel, uh, bricks, and whatever other things are needed, those things. So those are two separate things. So if we look at the creation, then Brahmaji is doing the creation, right? But Brahmaji is first provided with the material. And who provided that material? Just like for a building, we need steel, bricks, and whatever anything else is needed. So someone who provided that material, and one who is building it. So the Supreme Lord has provided all the material. So he is the primary creator, Supreme Lord. And then Brahmaji is the secondary creator, because he used all those ingredients to create the building or the universe. And so in this chapter till now, that is so here first, when Krishna wants to create, he expands in himself in Mahavishnu, and then Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, and then from Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, many universes come from his pores, and then Shirodakashayi Vishnu, he enters into each universe, and from his lotus, from his navel, lotus comes, and on lotus Brahmaji comes, the first living entity. And then Brahmaji does the austerity, and then Krishna inspires him and gives him knowledge and inspires him to create the universe. And then Brahmaji starts his creation, and he starts his creation. That is what is mentioned here. So first it is like mentioned here, first there is a Pradhan, then Mahatattva, then Krishna glances, Pradhan, then Krishna glances at Pradhan with the living entity and impregnates the Pradhan with living entity and the time. And then the Pradhan turns into Mahatattva and gets agitated, and then the first thing that comes is the false ego, right? So, and then different, it is mentioned, other changes happen. And then when Brahmaji is creating, first he creates the darkness, and he creates the darkness from his shadow. There are 5 kinds of darkness he creates, and I just found it very interesting when I was reading it. It has been already talked about. Akhandinam, he mentioned it very nicely in last Saturday's class. And I was looking at it again, and it was very interesting. So Brahmaji creates like 5 types of darkness again. And before we go into the darkness, I was yesterday only I was listening to Satyanandan Swami Maharaj's lecture on this, and there he uses the similar verse, and he's talking about there are two types of darkness. So first is the darkness that we see here, like it's all when there is no sun or electricity or fire, there is darkness, and in the night we get light from moon. So if moon is not there, also it's complete darkness. That is one kind of darkness. And what happens when there is darkness? Then we get scared because we don't know what is what. Like if I hear some noise in the darkness, I may be scared that there may be a snake, or there may be someone who is following me. There may be some animal, because I don't know what's happening. So it's very scary. Like one day I'm very scared of darkness, actually. So one day I was remembering walking with my son, and I wanted to tell him where I go for morning japa walk by the river, by the pond. And then it was so dark in the night, I didn't go there. I said, Anand, I won't go right now. I'll go some other time. He said, why? I said, I'm just scared. I don't like darkness because it was complete dark, no light at all. So the darkness is scary. So this is one type of darkness. The other type of darkness is this darkness, the one that Brahmaji created first. And and he created this darkness from his shadow. And the darkness is of five types. That is the internal darkness. And that five type of darknesses, first is tamas. I'm reading it from here. First is tamas. And tamas is, let me see. Tamas means ignorance. Right? So we don't know basically who we, because if we want to enjoy separately from Krishna, so first thing is we forget our identity as the soul, and that is ignorance. Until unless we forget our identity, how can we enjoy separately from Krishna? So first type of darkness is ignorance, tamas. Then the second type of darkness is moha, means egoism, means uh, when we don't know who we are, when we forget our real identity, then we of course have to associate ourselves with something, right? And that is moha, egoism, false ego. And then mahamoha. Mahamoha means attachment. That is a third thing, raga. And fourth is dvesha. So based on the body, when we identify ourselves with this body, then the moha comes, raga comes, and dvesha comes. We get attached to certain things, and we hate certain things. And then because of these things, we become very absorbed in material pleasure. So these are the 5 types of darkness that Brahmaji created. And then after creating this darkness, then I will just, now I will read from here. The description Maitreya Muni offers in this chapter of the Bhagavatam is quite similar to previous descriptions offered in chapter 5, 6, and 8 of the third canto. In this chapter 20 description, however, Maitreya describes how Brahma created demons who subsequently approached him with lust. So now, after this, Brahmaji created demons, and the demons itself, they themselves, they approached Brahmaji. In fear of these demons, Brahma sought shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In his purport to text 28, Srila Prabhupada directs all those in distress to seek the Lord's shelter. If anyone can completely perceive another's distress, without doubt, it is the Lord himself. If someone is in distress and wants to get relief from his friend, sometimes it so happens that his friend does not appreciate the volume of distress he is suffering. But for the Supreme Lord, it is not difficult. The Supreme Lord, as Paramatma, is sitting within the heart of every living entity, and he directly perceives the exact causes of distress. He means Krishna. So Krishna directly perceives the exact causes of distress. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, Sarvasya chaham hridaya sannivishta. I am sitting in everyone's heart, and because of me, one's remembrance and forgetfulness occur. Thus, whenever one fully surrendered unto the Supreme Lord, one finds that he is sitting within one's heart. He can give us direction, how to get out of dangers or how to approach him in devotional service. Now, upon seeing the Lord's order, Brahmaji cast off his body, which took the form of evening twilight. That is where we are. So, when Brahma cast off his body, then it took the form of evening twilight. What is twilight? It is the juncture between day and night, and the time that kindles passion, nighttime. The demoniac who are controlled by passion mistook the twilight to be a beautiful woman and approached her with flattering words. Their minds overwhelmed by lust. In this purport to text 31, Srila Prabhupada advises how to avoid passionate attraction. The real beauty is Krishna and Radha, and who is attracted by the beauty of Radha and Krishna cannot be attracted by the false beauty of this material world. This is the difference between a demon and a godly person or devotee. Thus, by Lord's grace, Brahma escaped his fearful situation. I think it will happen next, right? So, yeah, till here we did. So, I think that that's all, Prabhu. And so this is like a quick summary of what we did till now. And I was thinking I will just speak on one more thing that I really liked when I was listening to Satyananda Swami Maharaj about the darkness, that the outside darkness and inside darkness. So inside darkness is, as it is mentioned here, the 5 types of darkness. So inside darkness, it is not destroyed by sun, moon, light, even time. Means even if we live millions of years, the inside darkness cannot be destroyed by that. So how can we destroy the inside darkness? And that is the verse from Bhagavad Gita. If you remember, Prabhu, it is Gyan Rupe, when Krishna says that I, those who are completely devoted to me, dwelling in their hearts, I myself remove the ignorance with the torch of light, of Jnana, knowledge. Jnana Rupena. I don't know. I don't remember which verse is it.
Jnana Bhashvata.
Do you know, Prabhu, which chapter?
The line is Jnana Bhashvata. So I will find out. Oh, is it this 10, 11?
10, 11.
Tesham evanukampartam. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yes, Prabhu. Yeah. Yeah. Here is. I 10, 11. Is it 11, 10, Prabhu?
10, 11 Mataji, that one of these Chatusloki.
Yeah, 10, 11. तेषामेवानुकम्पार्थम् अहम् अज्ञानजं
Yes, Mataji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Mataji. Tesham evam anukampartha anukampada aham ajnanajam tamaha nashyami atma bhavastho jnana deepena bhasvata. To show them special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. and how it is done, how do we uh, how do we approach that? And that is, how can we destroy, how does Krishna destroy the darkness in our heart? Is like, there are two types of chanting. um, One is shadow chanting, and other is the real chanting. So shadow chanting is, it's like, if I have a nice plate of prasadam or a mango, then if I make a shadow of it, and if I ask uh, all the peoples who have maybe come into my home for dinner prasadam, and I just give them the shadow, and I ask them just to eat the shadow, would they be satisfied? No, they will never be satisfied. Ra- It will cause more frustration, actually, that the mango is there and I'm not able to eat it, and it will cause more anger and frustration. So that is how the shadow name. So if we are chanting the shadow name, then it will help us to get rid of our sinful reactions, but we cannot achieve love for Krishna. So that's why it's, if we are doing the shadow chanting for even millions of years, that is not going to take us anywhere. So that's why it's important to do the real chanting. And then he was saying, how do we do the real chanting? And he's saying we do the real chanting by chanting with sambandha. So I was reading from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's commentary on that. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur was saying that first we need to come onto the when chanting, before chanting, on the soul level, that okay, means we cannot be like, at least I cannot be on the soul level, but at least to have the knowledge that I'm not this body, I'm the soul, and I'm eternally connected with Krishna. And then with that sambandha, with that relationship, if I chant the holy names and pray to Krishna to please pick me up and put me at your lotus feet. And then, if in that mood, when we chant, then that is the real chanting. And when we chant in that mood, then that verse come, Krishna destroys the ignorance in our heart, the darkness in our heart. And when Krishna removes the darkness in our heart, and then when we know who we are, and then we can, by Krishna's mercy, slowly we can get the love for Krishna. So that is all I had, Prabhu and Mataji. So if anyone has any points or discussion, then we can have.
Thank you, Mataji. Nice class. The Sachinandan Maharaj spoke on these verses, or he gave that 5 kinds of ignorance. He spoke on a different topic.
It was a japa seminar, Prabhu.
Okay. Okay.
I can forward the link.
Yes.
It was a japa seminar he gave in London.
Uh-huh.
And it was just very amazing to hear him. Yeah.
So Raga, Moha, and Dvesha, and what is the second one, Mataji? This type of ignorance you said. Brahma created. I didn't get that. What is that?
Yes, Prabhu. It is from here, Sarartha Darshini, Prabhu,
Oh,
from
okay.
Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's commentary. So the first one is, Prabhu, tamas, the ignorance that I'm not the body, right? And then from that comes moha. Moha means attachment.
Hmm.
No, sorry. Egoism, Prabhu. Egoism. I will do one thing, Prabhu. I will read from Bhurijana Prabhu's, how he has described it one by one in unveiling his lotus feet. He did it very nicely. So the Lord's illusory attempt to compete with the Lord is known as tamish, darkness. Such a mood dictates that he must forget his eternal relationship with Krishna. Otherwise, it would be impossible to compete with the Lord. Trapped by the ignorance, he then acquires the material body. Then it comes the false ego, Prabhu, at material body, and identifies himself with it. That is the ahankar, false ego. We identify ourselves with the body. So first is the ignorance, that we forget our relationship with Krishna. And when we forget our relationship with Krishna, then the second one comes ahankara, which we identify ourselves with the body. And this is called andhatamishra, complete blindness that leaves the soul in darkness, a form of ignorance based on tamas, ignorance of his true identity. Bodily identification. And now what happens when we identify ourselves with the body, then the natural thing, next natural thing comes is we get attached to anything that is related to our body or something that good to us. Someone says nice thing or someone serves us, then we become, our kids and everyone, we become attached. And that is the raga. And then when the raga comes, then the dvesha comes, because of course we like people who are good to us, then we hate people who are not good to us. Then that comes a hatred. And so bodily identification leads to physical and mental attachments, and therefore moha, illusion, increases, which in turn causes him both to make materialistic endeavor and to view others either as friends or enemies. This only increases his desire to enjoy matter. And this is the fifth one, Prabhu, to enjoy matter. So when we are like attached to people or hate, then that naturally increases our desire for enjoyment. So these five kind of darkness are increasing. So to maintain the spirit that life is meant for his own pleasure, he inquires all the forgetfulness and ignorance can supply. Sorry. I'm sorry, Prabhu. Today my eyes are not working, it seems like. To maintain the spirit that life is meant for his own pleasure. So because now we are thinking that, okay, the life is meant for my pleasure only, right? Then what happens? We require all the forgetfulness that ignorance can supply, including forgetfulness of impending physical death. Oh, that is interesting. So, to maintain the spirit that life is meant for his own pleasure, like for ourselves, that means we, require all the forgetfulness also. We require material pleasures, but the forgetfulness also. And that ignorance can supply. So, the forgetfulness, we get it from ignorance, including the forgetfulness of impending physical death. And also, not only it includes the forgetfulness of impending physical death, because we forget that, okay, the death can come at any time. Like Sri Narottam Das Thakur says that we are in the middle of the Holocaust and we are trying to enjoy. So we forget the impending physical death, and also forgetfulness, his own previous failed attempts to enjoy and frustration he felt in their wake, and forgetfulness of all failed attempts of the countless souls before him. That's interesting. So we forget, that is the ignorance, Prabhu, that, we forget um, our attempts and other people's attempts also, and which is so true. I was in our psychology class that explains it. In our psychology class, there is one experiment, very famous experiment that was done where one a psychologist, that experiment he did was with the dog. So the experiment was with the bell and the connection of bell with the food. So whenever the bell would ring, they will give the food to he will give the food to the dog. Okay. Bell rang, give the food to dog. Bell rang, give the food to dog. Continue it for like 2-3 weeks. Then after that, what happens? The moment you ring the bell, the saliva increases in the dog, because now the dog is anticipating food, because the dog has connected food with the bell. Right? So we were talking about that, and we were just having this discussion with our professor that, but we human, the dog has associated the bell with the food. But we, although we have, like, let's say we were talking about the abusive marriage or abusive relationship. So in the abusive marriage or abusive relationship, mm, the female part who is being abused, means although it is happening again and again, but still when the spouse says nice word, she forget about what happened in the past, right? So that is I was connecting this with that, although we have seen our failed attempts, but still we forget, and we try to get the same thing from others again and again, from other people or from other objects of enjoyment. So the fifth one was, Prabhu, the one you were asking for, is desire to intense desire to enjoy the matter.
Yes.
If there is another point, then it's good, Prabhu. Otherwise, we can stop.
Yeah, I don't have anything else. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Hare
Yeah.
Krishna. Vanchkalpatarubhyashcha kripa sindhubhya patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.